with 42 seconds to go, we cut straight in and we head on over to our live chat. Let's go see how things are going, y'all. Who says y'all? I say y'all. I don't say y'all. Anyways, welcome to the weekly live. Do we have audio? Yes, we have audio. Perfect. At least I think we do. I don't actually know. You'll tell me soon enough. Anyways, hello. No, the shelves are not organized. Brian, was it Brian? I don't remember actually who typed it. Brian, yes. The board game shelves are not fully organized. We're getting closer. We're getting very close. But we did take a break because, unfortunately, work is a thing and other things have to be done. So this week is not going to be a chaos stream. We're going to try to alternate every other week chaos streams. How are we going to keep it going when the shelves are organized? No idea, but we'll figure it out. But I think there's one more episode of shelf organizing. At that point, I think I'll be at a critical mass that I'll be doing it like piecemeal here and there and stuff. But I'm pretty happy with how the thing has gone so far. So we are not done. We will hopefully be back next week with the final, probably final, shelf organizing episode. Probably final. There's always things to do. Anyways, that's as far as how that goes. But this week is getting things done. So let's go ahead and see where we are in chat. Let's see. Let's make it live chat as opposed to top chat, which I always need to do. Let's, sorry. Let's pop it out, at which point I'll have to recorrect it to live chat because I always forget the order to do it in. I always do live chat, pop it out, and then I'm like, oh, I have to reset it. And I never learn. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. We're learning faster than I saw it, but anyways, Brian, board game shelves must be organized, time to fill them with new games. No. I try to keep the new games. The board game shelves will fill themselves, trust me. They will get filled up. But I think a collection of 300-ish in my games, like again, not counting Unplayed, not counting kids, 300-ish of the games I want to table, I think that's plenty. I think it's very hard to table those games consistently, and I love the 5 out of 5s I have, I love the 4.5s out of 5s that I have, and I need to play them more. So I'm not in a rush. When new things come along, like I just played Minos, review going up probably next week. I just played Minos. It's amazing. I love it. There will always be new games to agonize over, and there'll always be not enough time to play all the games. And that just is what it is. Danny Gable, hey. Dan Gable, do you wrestle? I'm guessing there's a wrestler called Dan Gable. I don't know him. James, good afternoon all. Professor Meg, no Meg today, but I'm here in chat. Hello Meg, how are you doing? Brian, a wild Meg has appeared. Brian. Hello, first time attending Level Up this week. Will 6 Siege be available to play at Level Up? I do not believe we have a copy of 6 Siege at Level Up, unfortunately. That's one of those weird things. So in order to get a copy, here's how Level Up works, okay? So, the library. Here's how the Level Up library works. The Level Up library is a combination of things that I didn't keep that I think are worth adding to the library. Meaning, if a game I thought was meh, I don't care to add it to the library. We're not trying to fill up the library with meh games. We're trying to fill up the library with good games. But if it's a good enough game but I didn't keep it, which there are plenty that are in that category, then the Level Up library gets games from there. The Level Up library also gets games by me reaching out to publishers and asking them to contribute hot games and play to wins. It's usually a win-win situation. They get, a bunch of people who can see, play, and get excited about their games, and we get free games to the library. It's a win-win situation. But then the third category is going to be games we choose to buy when we couldn't get a copy otherwise and we think it's worth having. And that's always a smaller category, meaning we're a lot more flexible about buying used games in big lots, but if you want the new hotness and stuff, like we have a decent enough library as it is. There's already like, a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 ratio of games to attendees. I think it's like close to 3-to-1, but either way, like the library I think says like 900, but we have more than that. There's just not all catalog yet. But we have around a 3-to-1 ratio of games to attendees, which is pretty good. We have a pretty good selection of games, I think. We don't have every hot game ever, but we have a very good selection of the popular games that are sought after. And then by every year soliciting the newest and hottest games for both play-to-wins and hot games, we usually fill out that number. But there's always things that slip through the cracks. And I don't always know what slips through the cracks, but just to give you an example, Wormspan, I'm trying to track down if we have a copy of Wormspan. I'm trying to track down if we have a copy of Finspan coming, because I know I have a copy of Finspan coming. Do I just contribute mine to the library? Maybe. We'll see. Because the last category is buying games. Buying games directly that we don't otherwise have access to, usually that gets expensive very quickly. If we want to buy 10 games for the library, that could be $500 in a second. And so we have to be careful about, is it worth it? We're never going to have every hot game. So how essential is every hot game? So that's kind of a conversation we go through. And we do buy games. We do specifically say, you know what, this game is hot enough, we need to have it. And that is what it is. But 6 Siege is too big, too expensive, and not hot enough. And there's no real company I can reach out to solicit a copy of. So it's in this weird space where we don't have it right now. If it ever gets acquired by like a CMON or who knows what, I don't know, then we can have a conversation. But it probably will not be there this year because of it. And my copy, I'm not willing to contribute because I like my copy and it's staying here. Anyways, that's a long answer to Succeed and Level Up. Speaking of Level Up, to all of you currently here, we are headed down into 2 weeks till Level Up happens, which, by the way, fun fact, I just ran the numbers on this morning. I'm kind of shocked because to me, I'm like, who buys a ticket in the last 2 weeks before the convention? So it looks like a quarter of our sales last year and our quarter of our sales the year before were in the last 2 weeks of the convention, which I didn't realize that, but I just did the numbers. Like, roughly a quarter of the full ticket sales happened in the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, you guys are all crazy. But the good news is there are still tickets available, so if you do want to come, you can go ahead and check out Level Up Retreat. I believe it's $110. I have to double check the price. I think it's $110, and it's 3 days of gaming. There's a lot of games and a lot of opportunities to have fun in different ways. So come on by, check it out, have fun. It's going to be January 30th to February 1st. Anyways, Sven, do not fear. Meg is here. Ordinary. I need that avocado. It's from, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the company. Darn it. What's the name, first of all? Mute my phone. Okay. No, not that. Okay. Second of all, what's the name of the company? That's Flashlight, not Mute. What's the name of the company that makes those avocados? I can't remember. They make the Plague Doctors. Like, Google stuffed Plague Doctor. Then when you inevitably find the only site that makes those, then search for the avocado. And that's a small one. I believe that's called a mini. Like, you might not think it's a mini. It's a mini. Because the large ones are large. I have the large one too. My son loves it. Okay. Professor Meg, I have many shelves. Yes. Oh, are you saying we're going to be calling your shelves and organizing your shelves? Is that what's happening next? Daniel, looking forward to going back to a local pub for pizza at Level Up. What non-gaming things are you looking forward to? Non-gaming things? There's no such people. I like people. I like people a lot. I miss people. Trevor, good morning, everyone. Brian, next week is Meg board game call. Not that I know of. Professor Meg, no, next week is still Alex's. Yes, that's my understanding of the plan. Nurnaim, hello, everyone. Rainwater Games, do you have any goals this year when it comes to your collection? So, fun fact, actually, currently inspired by, first of all, Applebee's. Thank you for being a member for 24 months. Oh my gosh, that's 2 years. Sometimes I'm doing this and I'm like, wow, I've only just started YouTube. And then other times I'm like, it's been 5 years now. It has been officially more than 5 years. I probably should have done a video celebrating 5 years. I didn't do a video celebrating 5 years, but I should. 5 years is a long time. 5 years is like a big chunk of my life. That's like a seventh of my life. A seventh of my life has been doing YouTube. It's a pretty big number. Anyways, thank you all, and thank you Applebee's for being a member for 2 years. Anyways, inspired by Jenna from the Board Game Garden, I do plan on doing a video on my board game resolutions. I'm sure other people have done it. I just saw her video and I was like, I should do New Year's resolutions. So I probably will do a New Year's resolutions videos. I don't know if I have any goals when it comes to my collection. I do have certain goals around games. I'm not going to tell you them now because that would defeat the purpose of you watching the video, but I don't know if I have goals around my collection per se. Because my goal for my collection is always the same. Keep the best games I can, and ideally games that I am still prioritizing tabling. No, I shouldn't say still. Ideally, I should have the best possible collection of games that are right for me, and ideally, they should all be games that I believe have a chance of being tabled. Meaning, it doesn't matter how good a game is, if I believe it no longer has a realistic chance of being tabled, it should go away. And that could be a number of reasons. It could be because it's better games. It could be because better games, like, in that category. It could just be because I have too many games and I don't think I'll table it. It could be because of the player count or anything, any reason. The game length. So, the best possible games, each of which I believe has a possibility of being tabled, whether or not it does, by the way. That's a big difference. Even if a game doesn't get played for 4 years, as long as there's a reasonable chance it could have been played and it just happened to not, that counts. That counts as a game. Versus a game that, there are many games that I really enjoy and appreciate, but I realize I'm never going to prioritize it. Like, if somebody else were to, like, if I was at somebody else's house and they were like, hey, do you want to play game X? I'd be like, sure, totally. But I'm not going to pull it out of my house because I have games that I prefer over it, even though I do like game X. There's a lot of games that fit into that category. Anyways, so that kind of is what it is. Ordinary Leroy, do you have any hints what Ivy Studios up to this year? I think the thing they're up to they've already announced. Can somebody in chat post what Ivy Games' next game is? Because I'm pretty sure they've announced it, but in case, like, I know their next game, I'm 99% sure you all know the next game too. So somebody post it in chat if you know. Not Meg. Meg, you don't post it in chat because I know you know from the content creator side. But if somebody from the non-content creator side knows, post it in chat by all means. Board Game James, are you the person who runs the... You run the Discord, right, Board Game James? Am I correct? Board Game James, I'm just thinking Discord. I'll catch up to your comment in a second. But Board Game James, I believe you run the Discord. If you could confirm or deny, and of course you're invited. Yes, you do run the Discord. There we go. I'll catch up to chat in a second. I see things incidentally while I'm going through things. Do you have any hints? Do your copy of Iridia come in, Alex? Yes, I have done an unboxing. It's still set up here. I still need to play more. It will be, I would expect a review probably in the next 2 weeks, probably before level up. We'll see. Okay, Jason, with your Gamefound Insider Info, wait, no. First comment. Rainwater Games, can you tell us all about what kind of things you do on the daily for Gamefound? What kinds of things are you responsible for? Great question, and it does vary. So I would say in the first 2 years of me being there, I very much was focused on trying to get as many of the top 100 creators as I could onto the platform. That was probably my biggest focus. I did a lot of other things, but that was my biggest focus. And when I say top 100 in quotes, what I mean by that is it's not a specific list, rather it's any creator who has an established presence and is like well known within the, again, like the Simons, the Steamforge, the who else is on the platform? I don't know. The Go on Boards, the Roxleys, because like we haven't gotten Roxley yet. Like any of the big creators who consistently run big campaigns, my main role was to try to get as many of them onto the platform as possible. That was done through a combination of direct outreach to those people, utilizing existing connections I already have, and establishing new connections when I didn't have them. Part of that was also taking care of setting up their, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the name of the sister? Their system, their customer CRM, their CRM. I am responsible for setting up their CRM, their customer relationship manager system, whatnot, and making sure that, and that's the one we're still using today, and just that helps us manage our communication, making sure that amongst a sales team of people, you don't have the same people, you know, messaging the same people with conflicting notes or messages or whatever it is. So it kind of just keeps all your communication between separate parties as manageable as possible. So that I'd say was my biggest role within the last 2 years. I think I have shifted a little bit, and the reason I've shifted a little bit is because the tricky part about this is like honestly, this could be a whole video. This should be a whole video, because like I work for Gamefound. What does that mean? Like what is it? I don't know I mean, I know what it means. I don't know if you know what it means. But so for right now, a big part of the shift is, if you've noticed, Gamefound has gotten most of the top creators already. Not all of them, but most of the top creators have, in the board game space, have moved to Gamefound. If you go to Tabletop Analytics and you sort for the most funded creators in the board game space, most of them are on Gamefound already and are using us for repeated campaigns. They are happy with the platform, they're happy with the results. I can't guarantee they'll stay there forever, but they're on board. Which means, where does my time go? So there's a lot of different conversations as to where my time can go and should go, but one of the things I've been working on very heavily right now is trying to set up as many processes internally as possible to try to make sure that our general ability to keep, maintain, connect with, and work with clients is as good as possible. And that can mean anything from making sure their needs are taken care of, making sure we know what's coming up in the pipeline, making sure that the people that work underneath me have their sales flow properly managed, and that they're utilizing all the tools at their disposal to make sure that we're in touch with active clients, seeking out new clients, making sure we are saying all the right things, doing all the right things. So I'd say that I still chase top creators, but there's definitely been a shift because we've gotten most of the top creators that are already existing. And there'll always be new creators, but it's harder to target a new creator as easily. This is part of what I do, trying to set up the process of how do you find a new creator to crowdfunding. That's a very complicated process if you're trying to track down someone who doesn't already have a presence and find their next big campaign. That's kind of a distilled sort of answer. There's a lot more to it, but that's a distilled answer as far as what I used to do versus the shift over time as we've been successful at that. Jason, with your Gamefound Insider Info, any idea when Awakening Realms' next announcement event is? Assuming you can say. I think Lands of Avashai was the last one from the last announcement. I know exactly when it is. I don't know if I can say. I'll say soon, but that's not really a tease much, or it's not really new because they usually do it at the beginning of the year. So it's soon. Take that for what you want. Danny Gable, has anyone had a chance to play Purple Haze TTRPG yet? I have not. Brian, Alex didn't have Dune Imperium at the first level up. Yeah, that is, historically speaking, at level up, the only game I have that the only game Level Up has had that we've had multiple people ask for, because there's always going to be one person who asks for a game. That happens. The only game I can recall we've had multiple people ask for, like, hey, you don't have this game, was Dune Imperium. And that's an oversight. Those things happen. Asaf, good afternoon, Alex. First of all, can you share with the audience what do you think of Frostpunk? Second, if you had free time now, which solo game you play for fun, not work? I enjoyed Frostpunk so far from what we played. I am excited to play it more. I am not yet head over heels with it, not by a long shot. I am very intrigued with what it's doing, and I want to play it more, and I could see it becoming a game I love, and I could see it becoming a game I don't love. It's very much, because like, it didn't even have a full game. I got like a trial, I understand a lot more what's going on, and I'm excited to dive into it. As far as if I had free time now, which solo game would you play for fun, not work? I want to say Marvel Champions. I've been, if you, anyone who's here for the last week's live, we're talking Marvel Champions a lot, and I wish If I had nothing work-related at all and I could play a solo game right now, I think I'd whip out some Marvel Champions and play that. I've been doing a lot more card games. Between Primal, between Lorcana, between playing Hearthstone a lot more recently. I've gotten back into Hearthstone. I'm definitely enjoying that. I definitely want more of that card game stuff. Rainwater. You can snap your fingers and have a new expansion for 3 games in your collection, which you don't already have an expansion. Which games would you choose? Which games do I want an expansion for that don't already have an expansion? This is like, I don't know. I'd have to look through my top games, because like most of the games that I love probably do have expansions already. I don't know. I'm going to plead the fifth on this one. I don't have an easy answer. And like, I often don't crave expansions. It's very rare that I crave an expansion. And more importantly, when I do crave an expansion, it's because, that's the answer. Here's the answer. It's not going to be an answer, but it's going to be an answer. In general, the games I most crave expansions for are those that aren't the top games in my collection. Almost inherently, games that I enjoyed, but I'm like, I feel like I could use an expansion, that's usually because something was missing from the experience. My favorite games don't have, like I just talked about Minos, I love Minos, I'm very happy for it. Oh, Wondrous Creatures. I want Wondrous Creatures to have an expansion. That's actually, here we have an answer for us. So, Minos is great and it's amazing and I love it. And the thing that's missing from it isn't fixed by an expansion, in my opinion. Wondrous Creatures is, I think, an expansion for more goal cards, and a revised system to the board could take a great game and make it better. So that would be one, although even there I'm cheating because I have those little mini expansions. So that would be a good example of a game. But I'd have to go through my top 100 and think through how many games fall into that category, because most don't. Most of the time, if I feel there's something missing, the game isn't my top game. And if I don't feel there's something missing, I will happily get an expansion, but I don't even know what's missing. So I'd have to find the games like Wondrous Creatures. So almost always they're going to be 4s or 4.5s, not 5s, and there'll be some specific complaint that an expansion might be able to address. And those are going to be rare, but I guess they will exist because Wondrous Creatures does answer that. Board Game James, I wasn't invited, you're invited now. How far is it from Newark? No idea. It's at the Woodbridge, the something, Woodbridge, it's on the site. I should probably know this, but it's on the site. The Woodbridge something, the Marriott Woodbridge, maybe? I don't know. It's on the site. Look at the bottom, it'll be there somewhere. What am I blanking on the name of the hotel? The Delta Marriott at Woodbridge. I think that's what it is. Professor Meg, Squishable. Yes, Squishable, that's the thing. If Meg was right there right now and you're going to play a game right now, what would you pick? That's a hard question to answer. I'm looking at Orleans on the shelf and I want to play that, but I think it's better with more players. It's better with 3. What's a 2-player game that I'm prepped to play, know how to play, want to play? Minos is great, but again, it's better with 3. I don't know. I'd have to look. There's a lot of things. I'd have to think, what is the thing that I want to play? I want to start, oh my gosh. I want to start that Egyptian game, that Legacy Egyptian game that I can't remember the name of it, but I like it. I unboxed it. I'm excited for it. I read the rules for it, but I'm waiting until I finish Clank Legacy before starting the next Legacy game. Nassau, maybe? Nassau, I want to play Nassau. Or Evenfall. Evenfall is a good candidate. I'm almost done with the rules on that one. I've played it. It's just been so long. Smooth and Rare, how do you organize your playmats? I stuff them in this is not a sarcastic answer, this is real. I stuff them in a giant box in my, I stuff them in a giant box that goes in my attic, and I barely ever pull them out. I don't have a good system. I need a better system. Until I have a better system, they just go into a box and never get looked at again. The exception is games that the playmat feels really essential for, and then I have a few of those off to the side, or if they fit in the box. I do actually have, a company is doing a playmat system for organizing. They're sending me a thing for crowdfunding. I'm going to look it over. I'm not sponsored coverage, just going to look at it and talk about it in one of my deluxification videos. I've yet to see a system that I really loved that fit within my life right now, although maybe, I don't know, I should put more work into it. I should put more, I would use them if there was easier to use them, is the short answer, but I don't right now, and I haven't put the time into it. Professor Meg, Squishable, Link, perfect, okay. Rainwater Games, besides your game table, what are the top 3 gaming accessories you use all the time? I mean, I love that little, like, puller thingy. I do love that, but I don't know if that's really a gaming accessory. Board game table is going to be the obvious answer. Sleeves? Do sleeves count? Because sleeves, a whole heck of a lot of sleeves. I like the dice trays that I have. I like the dice trays a lot. I have these dice trays from Chai Tea for 2, whose name should not be mentioned, but that's where they're from. And they're great, and I like them a lot, so they're great. I don't have a ton of gaming accessories that I can think of that I utilize a lot. Oh, I lost on chat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Smooth Professor Meg. For pretty ones like Root, I use boot clips from Amazon and use those to hang them in the game room like art. I hot glue moss over them to be the prettier first. Yeah, I don't do that. That's a good answer, Meg, but I don't do that. Ordinary LaRue, thank you for the link. Rainwater Games, thank you for clearing that from Meg. I almost had a heart attack thinking you were gluing your playmats. Josh, Alex, any chance you consider listing the Patreon exclusive videos on YouTube for YouTube members here? I find Patreon to be YouTube links with extra steps. I find Patreon to be YouTube links with extra steps. I'm not sure I fully understand that. So I do generally list the Patreon exclusive videos to the YouTube members. I'm pretty sure I do. I find Patreon to be YouTube links with extra steps. So the part I'm missing, Josh, is I believe that every YouTube video that I do that is Patreon exclusive or Ko-Fi exclusive, I believe I link them in the membership. Like if you look in the membership section, there'll be a string of videos that many of you won't see because you're not members, but they're for members only. So check out the membership section on the YouTube page and see if you see them there because they should be there. Board Game James, yes. Deny if bad, yes if good. Oh, I mean, it's good. So that's neither bad nor good. My opinion of Discord is I don't actively use Discord except for very, very, very few channels. I find Discord is like, either it's completely overwhelming from the channels you have and it's just a ton of stuff to catch up on, or I can't keep up. And maybe I'm just like, maybe it's like one of those boomer moments where I'm like just too old, I don't know. But Facebook, as much as I hate Facebook, like I don't like it at all. I'm trying to use less. Spoilers to my New Year's resolution, I'm trying to use social media less. But I think what you're doing with Discord is a good thing that someone should continue to take initiatives to try to grow these spaces and connect more people. I don't think I will benefit from it because for me, I have to either kind of be all in on Discord or not touching it at all because I just can't keep up or follow what's going on. For me, Discord is useful when people tag me. When someone tags me, I'm like, oh, someone called my name. I pop over, I engage. And outside of that, I can't keep up with the various Discords I'm in, so I kind of mute them all. So it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's just I personally won't benefit from it the way I would from, let's say, the Facebook group on the Facebook group on Facebook for reviewers, content creators, and all that. As much as I hate Facebook. And I don't hate Facebook from a moral stance. I just hate Facebook from, here's a test. You want to do a test, and some of you may have seen this already, but here's a test for you. Refresh your Facebook feed, and then count to 20 with each thing that you see. So start scrolling, and everything you see counts. So whether it's a post from a friend, whether it's a post from a board game group you're in, whether it's an ad, whether it's Facebook suggesting 7 friends for you, scroll down and count to 20, and see how many of those 20 things are either from your friends or pages you followed, and how many of those 20 were ads, Facebook suggestions, or pages you never asked to follow, okay? That's the little test you can do. For me, my number is 4 out of 20. 4 out of 20 was the amount of things I actually asked to be seen, to be shown. And that kind of makes Facebook just a way to, it becomes Facebook now to me is the same equivalent as shorts or reels. I scroll, I see stupid things I never asked to be seen, I see stupid things I never asked to see, and I feel like I wasted time doing so. So it's not a value I get out of it, outside of specifically going to groups or whatnot. Yeah, Javier, Alex, what was your most awkward moment while playing board games with people? What was my most awkward moment while playing board games with people? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's been stuff, but like, I mean, I spent so much of my life playing board games, there has to have been stuff. Like, I remember awkward moments in my life. I definitely remember, like, jokes I've made that didn't land, things I've said that meant one way and came out another. I remember a lot of things I've said that have been awkward, some of which I'm comfortably embracing. Like, there are awkward things I've said that I comfortably embrace. I don't care. Like, I know it was awkward. I said it was knowing it was awkward. That's fine. And then there's things where I'm like, oh no, the cringe, the shame, the oh no. But those moments, I can't remember them in relation to playing a board game. Although I'm sure they've happened, I just don't remember, so it's not a satisfying answer, I'm sorry. Drone Explorer, would you agree SETI is Terraforming Mars Killer? I'd have to play SETI first. I read the rules, I'd have to play it, and no. My answer is almost immediately no. Every person I've ever heard say X is a Terraforming Mars Killer has not been a Terraforming Mars Killer for me. So, and Terraforming Mars is still doing very well, so my instinctive answer is no. James, do any of us know what our jobs mean? LOL, you're not wearing 12 hats. I think most of us, I think it depends. I think there are people who wear 1 or 2 hats. I've always, in any job I've ever had, I've always worn a lot of hats. But that's also kind of integral to the kind of jobs I've had. I've very much been a semi-operations, semi-managerial, semi-running programs and making systems better. And those kinds of things inherently are wearing a lot of hats. But, you know, if you're filing someone's taxes on a regular basis, you probably have 1, maybe 2 hats. Paul, Professor Mag, will you be giving your first mention to Viridia? Alex as well. Happy that for once I'm in a live chat. I don't know if she will. I'll be whatever video Alex does for it. I guess she will be. Brian, thank you for answering my questions, Alex. I hope T60 is a level up this year. Either way, I'm still looking forward to other games I'll get to play there. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's very tricky because it's an expensive game that has a limited number of people who actually care to play it. Otherwise, I wish we did. We do have some of those, but those are more opportunities. I don't seek them out as much. Professor Meg, I would like to brag to everyone that for the first year, I've logged all my plays so far, 16 days strong. Woohoo! Another 349 to go. Not bad. Mike S. just saw a new hero announced for Marvel Champions today. Not that excited because I'm behind in the content because I have so much content that I don't play as it is. Nice Meg, you'll have to help Jenna. Yeah, I saw Jenna. So Jenna supposedly, from Jenna's resolution video, so I had a very similar experience to Jenna because I thought that was very interesting. She basically said she was doing great this whole year and then just dropped off in like September and just stopped logging plays. I had an adjacent experience. I log my plays always, and I always say I assume I'm 85 to 90% accurate. I do miss things. It is what it is. The amount of times I've gone in to log my third play of a game and my system's like, this is your first play, and I'm like, oh, okay, apparently it is. So either way, I'm usually 85 to 90% accurate. In September-ish of this year, maybe October, it might have been October for me, I think it was October, but October, November, and December, I just hard dropped off, and I was logging maybe half my plays, maybe. I don't know what happened, but I did similar to what Jenna said, like, I took notes in my email, and some of those would actually become notes, some of them wouldn't become notes, some would then turn into log plays, some would not. It fell off strong in the last quarter of this year, which isn't something that normally happens to me, I think. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, so, logging plays. Mikhail, any chance of Metal Gear Solid at level up? I don't believe so. Simon is sending a bunch of things for level up. That's not on the list that I saw. I believe we're going to have Fear of the Unknown as a hot game. I believe we're going to have Marvel United Multiverse as a hot game. I believe we're going to have Ethnos, Nova Era, and Yakuza as play-to-wins. So there are a bunch of stuff from Simon, but not... Oh, I think we're getting... Massive Darkness 2 as well from them, because they have the new campaign coming up, so they want to promote that. But not Metal Gear Solid. Oh, skipped on chat again. Skipped on chat. Ryan, out of curiosity, do you have any time for hobbies, interests outside of board games? Yes, but less than I used to. So here's just a short overview of things I do and or would like to do. It's a short overview. I'm making up on the spot based on things I just know. So I play video games. I play less than I used to, but I still play video games. I'm not playing Factorio at the moment. I still have a full planet to explore, but I'm waiting until I get back into it. I'm currently playing a lot of Hearthstone. That's the video game of choice that I'm playing at the moment. I'm enjoying the tabletop adjacent vibes to it. I'm having some fun building a decks. I have this killer shaman asteroid deck that is, oh my gosh, I love destroying people with it. If you play Hearthstone, I have this deck that basically it just pops asteroids into my opponent's deck. Then I upgrade those asteroids with a specific character. I have a lot of card draw to make sure I get that character. I have a lot of card cycling to make sure my asteroids pop up, and I have a lot of pullback to be able to play and replay and copy that character so that by the time you're midway through the game, I'm just popping off like a whole bunch of asteroids that are doing like 6 damage a piece. I also have that giant legendary creature that throws a bunch of these endgame cards and then upgrades those every turn, and again, I'm copying that too. So basically, I just destroy your deck with a ton of cards, and it is so satisfying when it works. I have like a 75% win rate with that deck. I don't win everything, but a very solid deck. That's my favorite deck by far, but I have a bunch right now. So either way, a little bit of a deep dive for those of you who play Hearthstone. I'm enjoying Hearthstone a lot right now. I think this is the most I've been back into it since I played it way back when, and I plan on continuing. I'm liking it. So that's my video game number one. Hobby number one is video games. Reading books. I used to read a ton. I read a lot of rule books now. I do still read books, but they're infrequent and less so. I probably read maybe a book every other month, something like that. Spoiler to my New Year's resolutions, I want to read a few more books than I currently do and just put that a bit more. Not crazy. I don't want to go crazy. Maybe 2 books a month. If I could do 2 books a month, that would be amazing. If I can get it to 1 book a month, that would be pretty good. So we'll see what happens there. But I like reading. I like reading. Painting miniatures. I don't make the time for it. I do wonder if I could or would. I'm juggling too much these days, and eventually that might change. Right now I'm still juggling a lot, but I would love to get back to painting miniatures. I find it satisfying. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the outcome, and it makes the tabletop experience better. But it definitely is a lower down the list hobby compared to, I don't know, whatever else I would do. Outside of that, there are hobbies I've had that I don't really care to prioritize. I used to draw very well. I don't have the desire to make that something I want to do. I juggle. I do magic, like magic the tricks and whatnot. I used to do those things. Those aren't things I feel the need to bring back into my life. I could just do those incidentally, so sure. But I think painting, reading, and video games would probably be the main things that I think of as my hobbies outside of board games. Board Game James, Cascadia needs more scoring cards, released like booster packs. I don't disagree. James Sullivan, has Meg talked to you in trying Arkham Horror LCG again yet? I already expressed interest last week, didn't I? I'm totally down for it. We talked about it a bit after. I'm sure I'll play it at some point. I did a video once of the 10 best games I don't own, and I believe Arkham Horror was my number 2, and my number 1 was Xyr Legend of a Drift System, which I got back already. So check that out. If you want a video to watch, an older video, the best 10 games I don't own, specifically talking about games that I really appreciated but still didn't own. Arkham Horror made the list. I'd be happy to play more of it. Do your own Explorer. Question, why no live play of Bantam West? Because I do very few live plays of anything. Why is Bantam West on? Like, I do playthroughs of games, but first of all, I rarely ever do live playthroughs. And then even playthroughs, playthroughs are usually either sponsored content or games that I know well enough and I'm passionate about them. Bantam West falls into neither of those categories right now, because the tricky part is to play a game live on camera, I either have to do a lot of homework beforehand so that any rules questions I already know. Because when I play a game with friends, I know the game well enough, and when that rule thing pops up, I just open the rule book and I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. If I do that doing playthroughs, I have to either edit videos, which I don't like doing, or it has to look less professional, less well done. So I don't like either of those options. So for playthroughs, I usually either reserve them for games I really like well. Like, there probably will be, I have the new Cthulhu content for whatever the newest set is, the Season 5, I guess. I have that box from Dice Tower sent it over to me. I'll be doing content for it soon. But I probably will do a playthrough of that because I know it well enough that it's not stressful. They're not paying me, but I just know it well enough. Alternatively, if someone pays me, then yes, I will put that extra work into it, but it does change the nature of it. It's still a fun game, but it's also work and homework. So yeah, that's kind of what playthroughs show up on the channel and why. Board Game James, Wonder Accusers just got Gargantuan Beasts. How far behind am I? I might be far behind, I don't know. No, not that far behind. Okay. Wondrous Creatures, I just got Gargantuan Beasts. Yeah, I like the mini expansions of Wondrous Creatures. They're all pretty easy to incorporate. I don't consider them main, like, expansions so much as modular mini stuff. Favorite Mint Tin game? None, but I will say Button Shy stuff I love. right now, Skulls and Steelbook would be my favorite Mint Tin game. And probably it's big enough right now that it probably does need a Mint Tin. Janual, are you going to do any playthroughs of Elder Scrolls Betrayal of Second Era? No. Hell to the no. See previous notes about the kinds of things you need to do for playthroughs. That is so much rules referencing as I play. It gets better and better. And another thing as well is when I do a film playthrough, when I do a playthrough with my friends, I don't care if I got the rules wrong. I don't. As long as the experience was good enough, I don't care if we didn't do the first player right, if we counted damage wrong here. It doesn't matter. We're having fun and it works. If it's not working, I'll check the rulebook as to why it's not working. My usual go-to, if somebody asks me a question in the game, the way I do this is like, this is what I do in a game. If you say, how does this work? I answer the question and then I go check. Because half the time I'm right, because there's a loose memory, and the other half I'm like, oh, never mind, okay, change that. But I want to keep the game flowing. I want to keep us having fun. It's about the experience, it's not about being right. When I do a playthrough on camera, it's more important to be right. And that changes the experience. So, Betrayal of Second Era, I don't mind house ruling every single thing and checking rules here and there, as long as I'm having fun, which I am. But I'm not going to do that for a film playthrough. Brian, thank you for everything you do, Alex. Appreciate it. Thank you. Also, how do you pronounce your last name? Because I keep wanting to say Brian, but it's clearly not Brian. It's Brian. I'm not sure. Press Meg, I think we would actually likely continue our video. Yeah, I assume so. Ryan, approximately how many attendees do you get level up? Okay, so last year we had around 420, if I recall correctly. This year, ticket sales are not closed yet. I believe we will be exceeding that number this year. So again, but the problem is, I just ran the numbers this year because I was looking at the numbers. I was like, oh my gosh, we don't have as many people as last year. And then I looked at the numbers from the past 2 years. We got a full quarter of attendees in the last 2 weeks. So if that trend continues, we will be probably at around 450-ish, something like that. And again, we are capping it at 500. I don't think, based on current tickets available and tickets sold, I don't think we're in danger of selling out. But obviously, if there's a rush on things, then it is what it is. But we should be fine and not selling out. We're capped at 500, and we'll see how things go. Professor Meg, our case. Yes, that's the one. Heading over if that's the game. Meg, I think it's at your house. I left it at your house. So yeah, our case is the one that I would like to play, but we have to finish freaking Clank first. We're in the middle of Primal, we're in the middle of Clank, we're in the middle of Iridia, and we're in the middle of Divinus. We have to finish one of those freaking games before we do the next campaign game. Board Game James, Ziggurat. I do want to play Ziggurat. Daniel Chance, Board Game James. Google says it's a 40-minute drive from the airport to the hotel, maybe less if there's no traffic. James Brown, greetings everyone, excited to be here. Aaron Taylor, where did you get that suction cup thing to help pull out board games? I got it from Amazon. In fact, if you check out the description of my 2 collection purges, I did post a link in there that's like $8. Somebody said they got one on Temu that they're happy with, which I say go for it. I mean, like they got it for Temu for like $3, something like that. That is the kind of thing that Temu can be very good at. So by all means, try Temu. It'll be $3 there, or just use my Amazon link. It'll be like $8 there. I will make money on the Amazon link, but I'm not making enough. I'll make like 30 cents. So save yourself the $5 and get it on Temu. Brian, YouTube does a terrible job making it easy to access member content. Alex is correct. You need to go to the membership section of the channel. Thank you, Brian. Mr. Boom, what games do you want to receive deluxe facial treatment? I would love to see Tzolk'in. Tzolk'in feels pretty deluxe. Tzolk'in feels like I guess Lost in the Brown. It feels pretty deluxe for where it's at. But I would love to see Chua get the deluxe creation treatment. And I can say that I am aware of some games coming this year that are not Chua that are getting the deluxe creation treatment. So, spoilers, semi-spoilers. Rainwater Games, is that an avocado behind you? Well, yes. Yes, it is. Raising Morningstar, do you think it's better for designers to focus on an awesome narrative for their campaign game rather than replayability, since many people don't even play through the game a second time? Ooh, great question. So for me, the answer is easily yes. The tricky part is I'm not the only person on the planet, strangely enough. So I do think people care about replayability. I think most people don't actually replay their games. So I do think the game is better served by focusing on the narrative and making an excellent, awesome experience. But I do think there will be people who will be like, why not replayable? But I think makes a better game. I think enough people are understanding that you're probably better off focusing on the better game. But there's a trade-off to that decision, so it's not easy. Board Game James, and you already have a ton of connections. I agree. Are we talking about, I don't know if we're talking about Level Up or if we're talking about, we're talking about the Discord. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, we're talking about Level Up, Gamefound? What are we talking about? Neither. We're talking about Discord. You're right. It's true that I completely agree. I am less likely to try to I'm less likely to try to make the Discord work for me because I am unfortunately in a position where I have those connections for the most part. Don't get me wrong. I have absolutely benefited from like the Facebook group, the reviewers and media, connections or not. There have absolutely been times when somebody has posted something about like, oh, game, we need reviewers, and I've reached out to them because I don't usually solicit review copies, but if you solicit to a group, then I'll respond. So I'll do that. So when that happens, I have developed and made relationships through that group. So as much as I do have connections, I do benefit from those, but it's true that when I'm not someone who typically uses Discord, I'm not going to try to make that system work for me. Again, I'm still in the Discord. Like I was going through this morning, I was like, I'm not leaving because like I don't know where it goes or where it grows, but we'll see. Josh, yes, I had a Boomer Moment. Exclusive videos are there. I think they just don't show up my feed for some reason. Yep, that makes sense because they're not really videos. It is what's it called? Brian's right. YouTube doesn't make it easy. Board Game James, I mute all my Discords. Yep. I use the feeds feature instead of the main page so I see my actual friends. Yep. Jonathan, wait, what? On Facebook, there's a feeds feature where you cannot see all the garbage? Is that a thing? I'm going to have to go look that up. Like, I guess I know, in hindsight, on YouTube, YouTube has their homepage, which shows you everything, and it has your subscriptions, which shows you the stuff you asked to see. This is a thing I can do? Holy hell, you may have changed my life. I'm gonna go see what I can do now. Jonathan, what game have you played the most this year? Oh, Crokinole. Not Crokinole, sorry, Shuffleboard. Shuffleboard is the game I've played the most this year. A boring answer, but an honest one. Josh, also for Playmaster, use the blueprint storage rack cart from Amazon. I know you're not supposed to store them vertically, but it's convenient and easy to access. I have no problem storing them vertically. Better than not getting them at all. Daniel Chan said it is great. It's in no way Terraforming Mars killer to me. Yeah, from reading the rules, I don't see what is Terraforming Mars adjacent enough for it outside of the theme. From reading the rules, but I haven't actually played it. I've just read the rules. Oh, at 144, we're doing great on time, people. Thank you for keeping this a busy, active little place where I can't keep up with it all. We will go to 2 o'clock. I don't think I'm going longer today. Last week we went nearly 2 hours, which is a little insane. Okay. Rainwater Games. Remember a few years ago when Meg was sitting between you and Devin with a sword and she said that one of you would die in that video? I haven't seen Devin in a while, just saying. You may not. I have. I talked to him yesterday. I sent him a little voice note yesterday. I don't know if that counts as talking. We had a back and forth on WhatsApp and I sent him a voice note. That's halfway to talking. But also, who's to say it's Devin? Who's to say it's Devin? Jan, is this War of Mine a good board game? What do you think about it? I think it's an excellent board game. I don't enjoy it. That's just based on ratings. Like, enough people love it that I do not like this War of Mine. I find it... I like the puzzle that's going on here, but I find it too gruesome and beating down the players. Like, I feel beaten down. I feel like everything I do is like, oh, I found these resources. I dug out this little place. I have more stuff. Oh, wait, no, we just lost half our food from a raid. Okay, well, I guess let's do that again. The experience to me I find a bit soul-crushing. Not for me. Ordinary. Rip in peace, Devon. Also, it's Devon with an O. D-E-V-O-N, not I-N. Smooth. A follow-up on the playmat question. What playmats do you use consistently often? For me, the most used playmat is from Marvel United. I actually don't use the Marvel United one as much as I would think. I do use it, but not as much. I like the Unconscious Mind ones. I've been using those for every play so far. They kind of fit in the cubby. The way I have it stacked, it fits in the cubby-ish, so it's good enough for me. What playmats do I like the most? It's a good question. I use the Endless Winter one, so maybe it's just Fantasia games. I use the Endless Winter. I use Unconscious Mind. Playmats that fit in the box, I use exclusive all the time, so like those don't count. Things like, you know, I don't know, Radlands and the playmat box storage there. I don't know. There's definitely others. I'd have to think through what, but there's definitely others. Drone Explorer, would you rather play 1 3-hour game or 2 short ones? When we get another 2 players, they're always asking for 2 short games, which eliminates so many great games. I would love to play 4 player counts. The short answer is I like both. So it's kind of about getting both experiences. There's no easy answer there. But I guess the answer would be it depends on what I've been playing more. If I've been playing more shorter games, I'll pick the longer one. If I'm playing more long games, I'll pick the shorter one. And it's not that longer games are preferred, it's that longer games can often give you an experience that you can't get from a shorter game. But length is not an inherent thing that makes the game better. I love a short game that gives you a good punchy experience. Ordinary Liru. Wait, if it sounds Simon, I've been saying like come on. I used to say come on. So here's the thing. So it's basically, long short version is people said come on for a long time. Simon themselves went back and forth on the pronunciation. So I kind of said, screw it. I'm going to say come on because it looks like come on, and I'm going to say come on. And you guys say it's Simon now, but you used to say come on, and there's still plenty of videos of you saying it's come on. So I don't care. I'm going to say come on. That lasted. Brian used to give me, I think it was Brian. Someone gave me a hard time about it. I think it was Brian, but probably Brian and others. I don't know. There were definitely people who gave me a hard time about saying the name wrong. And I'm like, I don't care. It looks normal and it feels normal, and they've said different things, so who cares? That worked until they started working with Gamefound. Once I'm talking to them as a Gamefound person, if I'm doing a Gamefound feast and I'm like, and our next come on project, that doesn't look good because they're currently saying it's Simon. So I finally adjusted once they went to Gamefound. I caved and adjusted. Matt, a few years in, how are you feeling about being able to separate job as CMO at Gamefound and reviewing crowdfunding, especially as between Kickstarter and Gamefound? So I feel great. I feel great, but I recognize the complexities there are. Because for me, there are absolutely conflicts of interest and there are absolutely problems about it. But they're not the problems people are worried about. The problems, like for example, the biggest problem will be, let's say I wanted to cover, I don't even know, like Awakened Realms is more of a problem, honestly. If I get an Awakened Realms crowdfunding game and I think it's a 2 out of 5, I will not cover it. And I'm sorry, like that is an absolute, like I know people are frustrated. Well, you're not going to cover it? No, but I won't cover it. I'm not going to put out a negative review of this thing for this company that is partially involved with Gamefound. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to give it a positive review either. Like I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you I like a game that I don't like. That's not in my interest at all. But if you see me not, like for example, here's a good example of this, okay, ready? So we did a sponsored gameplay for Nemesis Retaliation, okay, from Awakened Realms. We did a sponsored gameplay for Nemesis Retaliation. I also did a sponsored gameplay for The Dead Keep from Simon. I love The Dead Keep, so I did an additional review because I wanted to give you my opinion of The Dead Keep, and I liked the game a lot, so I wanted to. Nemesis Retaliation, it was fine. It was more Nemesis. I don't mind Nemesis, but like, I've talked about a lot of Nemesis. Ultimately, I think Nemesis is a good game. I understand why people love it. I've had mixed experiences. So I didn't choose to do additional content on the game. But that was me just choosing not to go further into it. Now, again, I don't think it's a bad game. That was like, I'm not going to invest more time into it. So there are potential conflicts of interest and decisions that will be made. But you're never going to see a review that is anything other than my opinion of the game because, like I had yesterday, someone commented on a video yesterday saying, the fact that the Great Wall is not in your top 100, and that combined with your terrible Elder Scrolls review, I should have known you were a shill all along. And I'm like, whoa. First of all, I still don't know if he wanted my Elder Scrolls review to be higher or lower. I don't know. I give it a 4.5. Should it have been a 5 or should it have been low? I'm not sure. And then separately is the Great Wall is a 4.5 out of me, a 4.5 for me, and it's outside my top 100 because I have more than 100 games that are rated a 4.5 and a 5. I still love The Great Wall. It's a great game, so I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but people will always... The biggest problem with managing Gamefound and my job as a reviewer, the biggest problem is that the people who watch my videos consistently, If you are someone who watches my videos consistently and you think I'm a biased shill, I would love to have the conversation, because the content and the consistency of the content and the lack of praising everything. Like I remember, what was it? Brink. I gave Brink a 5 out of 5, which by the way was on Kickstarter. So again, there's that conversation. I gave Foxpaw 3.5 out of 5, and that was on Gamefound. So that kind of stuff. If you watch my content consistently, then there's nothing to ask. But like what I mean by that is, the reason I'm bringing up Brink is I gave Brink a 5 out of 5, and someone, like, people made comments about how BoardGameCo must have cashed that check. And I'm like, did I not cash the check for the last 3 campaigns to them that I didn't give a 5 out of 5? Like, how exactly do you think that process works? Like, when I give a game a 4 out of 5, was there no check involved? Were they not shelling out for that? So anyone who watches a lot of my videos, I can point to enough consistency that if you do have a suspicion or a question, I can hopefully show you there's nothing to worry about. Again, a good example would be God of War. I did 3 videos for God of War, and I had people being like, you're a Gamefound shill, they're on Gamefound, and you're trying to help them grow, whatever. And the tricky part there is, I like God of War, I do like CMON as a company, and yes, I did 3 videos for God of War. I also did 4 videos for Deceased, I did 3 videos for Massive Darkness, and those were while they're on Kickstarter. Meaning, so again, if I can point to the fact that if you want to say I like CMON, yes, that's true. If you want to say I helped CMON because they're on Gamefound, that's so obviously untrue based on the consistency of my behavior before and after. And that's the biggest thing. For me, there's a consistency of my behavior, at least I believe there is, that should show that I'm able to separate those two things and not let it impact me. But somebody who doesn't watch enough of my videos doesn't know that. It's not their job to do the homework. And so if you see me give a 5 out of 5 to a game that's on Gamefound, and you don't watch all my videos, which is not your problem to do so, you're right to question me. So that's the thing I struggle with. I struggle with the idea that I could be consistent in my actions in a way that I think is fair and reasonable, and yet somebody else is still right to question me. And that's just the price I pay for having that conflict of interest. Ultimately, that conflict of interest is necessary to a certain extent because I need to pay the bills, and as much as YouTube is great, having 4 kids is expensive. So there's balances in life, and there's hard choices to make. And I appreciate those that give me the opportunity and stick around long enough to see that the consistency is there. And those that don't, you don't owe me that response. You don't owe me that, so that works out. Okay, that was a longer answer, but I think it was a good question. Joseph, Alex and Meg, greetings from Philly. Alex, you ever finished Ice Vanguard campaign? Nope. Watched my campaign video from my campaign ranking video from the other day, but no, I need to finish it more. I still want to. Are you going to have any more content on Cthulhu May Die before the late pledge ends? Do you know when the late pledge ends? Because the answer should be yes, but I don't know when the late pledge ends. Jen, most favorite and least favorite board game companies and why? CMON is most... Oh, no. CMON's not my most favorite. CMON's up there, but it's not my most favorite. My most favorite, because they make probably the most games that I enjoy, but my most favorite board game company... It's hard, because there's so many factors I'm considering. There's the people at the company, there's the games they produce, and then there's a whole package. Like, it's a hard answer. Possibly Chip Theory? Possibly Chip Theory. It's a hard answer because I'm trying to weigh up both the games and the people. I think Chip Theory probably wins from that. But it's hard because I'm trying to separate different aspects. Oh, least favorite. Mythic's the easy answer, but I don't even know if they're my least favorite company. Like, they definitely screwed a lot of people over, but there's a weird line as to fraud versus not fraud, any of those things. Mythic might be the answer. It might be. I'm trying to think if there's someone I dislike more than Mythic. Because there's a question of business incompetence. Does it make me actively dislike you or just be resentful of the outcome? And that's nuanced. I think Mythic knew that they were in enough hot water for long enough while taking people's money that maybe they just go, maybe Mythic. Let's go with Mythic for right now. I reserve the right to change that answer. I have to think about it more. LOL, me saying I would play a video was the answer to what to play right now. Oh, that's funny. How did Frostpunk go? Do you enjoy playing it the other week? Yes, I did. Januel, how many more times have you played Betrayal of the Second Era, and what player counts? Does the playtime get significantly longer going from 2 to 3 players? Yes, in general, I prefer that kind of game at lower player counts. As far as how many times I've played it, I think 1 more time. I have not played it a lot since the review coverage. It's just a long... This is the tricky part. This is my issue with it, which is it's a longer game, and I have a lot of things that I'm trying to play for coverage as well as personal enjoyment at any given time. But I do like it, and it's not going anywhere. David, do you ever try a lifestyle game like And Trespass? If so, did it land with you? I did try And Trespass, and I was like, I don't feel the need to commit to this much of a game. ACS, realizing Slay the Spire is missing from your top 100, do you feel like it's not a top 100 game? Slay the Spire is complicated. I love the game, but the video game being so accessible without any of the things in the way makes it a harder one to judge. There's a reason it's a 4.5 and not a 5. It's a great game, I love it, but it is a 4.5 that fell outside my top 100 because the video game itself gives me the experience that the board game gives. Ben, any good Clueless May Die storage ideas? Just got the new Kickstarter, too many boxes. I showed it last week's live stream. It's not a good answer. I kind of somewhat make the boxes a little better, but not by a lot. Board Game James, yes, press your face on mobile, see more feeds. You can then also edit your quick tabs, put feeds in the bottom tab to get quicker. That is good to know. Sebastian, do you back Avalon the Riven Vale? Yes. Esther, how often do you play board games with your entire family? Often enough. I mean, not as often as my game group, but weekly. Sandre, review of Eclipse Second Dawn, when? I need to play it first. You guys did successfully convince me to keep it from the video where I said I'm calling it, so it's saved, but it's not being played yet. Will Tarver, any tips for aspiring content creators when it comes to getting started and finding your voice? I hate this question. It's a good question. The short answer is watch a video called Is Success Luck or Hard Work by Veritium. Again, it's called Is Success Luck or Hard Work, and that kind of encapsulates my feelings on this because I think I can give you a lot of things that worked well for me and a lot of things that will work well for others. I also believe that success is a combination of luck and hard work. You need to do the hard work, but you still need to be lucky, meaning I can tell you 17 things, you can follow those 17 things perfectly, and it might not work for you. So that's the first thing to note, and that's definitely true in any passion-driven industry where you have a lot more people willing to put in those 17 steps because they really want to make this job their life, and it's not going to work for everyone. That said, as far as tips, the first tip is you have to look into how YouTube works. You do have to do that. You have to know how YouTube works in the ecosystem, some of the things that work. Like one of the things I did early on is I was doing mid-rolls and a lot of people were like, I don't want to do mid-rolls. YouTube promotes your videos more if they have mid-roll ads in them. A video that is making YouTube money is going to be more promoted by the algorithm than a video that is not. I try to keep my mid-rolls spaced out reasonably, but I'm not just putting mid-rolls in because they make me money. I'm putting them in because they promote the video more. They're a necessary evil, unfortunately. Thumbnails are a big deal. You have to have a thumbnail that kind of stands out in a way that makes it appealing, consistent, pulls it in. I, a long time ago, signed up for this alternating color schema, which has a nice look to it, but also means I'm forever locked into this alternating color schema that is so much extra work. It's cute. It's like when you go to my little subscription page or videos page, I think it has a nice look to it, but whatever, it is what it is. Outside of that, you have to be better or different. This is one of the ways I got lucky. I wasn't trying to be either. I happened to land on being different. I happened to start talking about board games from a financial side of things of I back this because it's worth it or not worth it in a way that other content creators weren't doing. People were doing that. Content creators weren't talking about like whether you should back a game because it's going to hold its value. So I got lucky kind of finding a niche in where people were looking for something that they didn't know they were looking for. I think a lot of content creators, you have to kind of be better than what other people are doing or different to really stand out. And different people have their shtick, so to speak. You have Tim Chun with some of the nicest video production ever. You have, Board Game Bullocks with his just complete no BS approach to everything. You have Foster the Meeple with their banter and their back and forth. You have Jennifer the Board Game Garden with her very laid-back, cozy style. Those are all people being different. You have to be different or better if you really want to have a chance of standing out, but it's not easy to be different or better because the next question is, great, how do I be different? I don't know. I didn't know when I was doing it. So that's kind of some of the loose, quick notes, but it's a much longer conversation. Jen, this War of Mine is question the player. I heard some of the things about Kingdom Death Monster. Have you played it? I have not played Kingdom Death Monster. I have played this War of Mine. G-Money, come to Buckeye Game Fest May 1st to 4th, small con run by people at Cabs. It's focused on playing games at Columbus Convention Center. I'd have to look what's going on May 1st to 4th. The tricky part is I already have 10 convention trips planned this year before the unknowns. And the unknowns are the things that make it harder. I try to keep it to a maximum of once a month on average. Historically speaking, if I do the 10 that I'm planning on, let's say Steamforge does one and then IV Games does one, we're already at 12. And that's already my cap, so to speak. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'd love to, and I don't know if I'll be able to. Ryan, sounds to me like you give... Wait, what? Sounds like me to give you, but it wasn't me for that. That's true. Board Game James, you have 4 kids. Yes, I do. They've been on the channel in the videos in different ways. Jan, I didn't watch you when you had your board game website active, but someone ended up getting a copy of Sword and Sorcery second hand with a sticker barcode from you. Every once in a while, I'll pull a game off the shelf that still has a sticker. I usually have gotten rid of them all by now, but once in a while, I'll be like, oh, that was on the side of the box. Those little BoardGameCo peel-off stickers. Okay. Digibolical WP. I bought Epic 7 Rise based on your negative review just to see if it's really that bad. You are correct, it is bad. Now I check your reviews even before buying new games. It hasn't led me astray yet. That's the thing. Like, I am very rarely that negative on games. I think most games are good. I was reading a thread about Foxpaw, because Foxpaw is doing all kinds of weird stuff right now, and someone like commented like, oh, BoardGameCo gave it a 3 point. It wasn't a negative comment. It was not negative. They're like, oh, BoardGameCo gave it a 3.5 out of 5, which is like, you know, doesn't bode great. It's not a recommendation until it's a 4, which is true. To me, a 4 is I recommend this game. A 3.5 was I had fun playing it. The reason that's not a recommendation is because there are so many games that I have fun while playing. There are tons of games that I have fun while playing. Why do you keep buying new games if they're just fun? The games you already have are fun. But the tricky part is this weird balance of, there's a part of me that wants to be more negative. Okay, well, if it's not great, it shouldn't even be a 3.5. But honestly, it should. If a game is fun, if I would have played Foxpaw as my first real game, I would have been over the moon with how good it is. It is a fun game. It's just not best of the best. So that's why my rating scale does tend to prioritize 3s and 3.5s are like, this is a passable, good experience. Like, I just don't care enough. 4 is a recommendation, 4.5 is amazing, and 5 is, oh my god, I can't wait to play it again. And yeah, Epic 7 Rise was a 1.5. What's Tamashi? Tamashi is a board game. It's behind me somewhere. Brian, come on, Alex. You'll rank everything, including your friends, Simon, CTG, ONEB. The order is probably harder. Yeah, so Simon, CTG, ONEB. So I'll tell you the logic. This is why it's harder. Simon has the most games that I love, and yes, I like the people there. The people that I know that are there, I like them. So it has the best games consistently of the people I love. Their community management is definitely a little worse compared to other things, and I don't like the people there as much as I like some of them, and as much as they have the most games that I love, they don't necessarily have the best of the best on average. ONEB has amazing people. I love them, and their games are great, but they have the fewest games. So that makes it a little tricky to rank them. Like, do I rank them higher, but they have like the best ratings of the games on average? Like Unsettled and Vindication, oh my gosh. Spiritfire, great. Vestige is more Vindication. So like that's a hard thing. Do they have enough games for me to rank them harder? But like all three of these, by the way, all three of these are mental gymnastics. And then you have CTG, who they have more people that I like they have more people that I like at CTG than the amount of people I like at ONEB. But I probably like the comments of ONEB are better in a sense, and the games are better. So like I think CTG just barely won out as the highest average. ONEB would probably be behind it, and then Simon behind it. But because they're all winning at different things in different minor ways, it is harder to be certain of that. Professor Meg, Paula is live playing Final Girl, so when we end, we should head over there. Well, we'll be ending here shortly. Paula's a boss. Next, Professor Meg. Hi, Professor Meg. I'm happy to see you live streaming. Did not even know that's something you do. Very nice. Yeah, I do this generally. I like to call it the Not So Weekly Live because it's every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but not every Thursday. Opinions on the Tebu system. I think the Tebu system is excellent for those who can benefit from it for a variety of reasons. I think for me, I'm intrigued to what they're going to do with Sword and Sorcery because that's a perfect implementation of a system that will manage the AI for you. Because I played Sword and Sorcery, I thought it was great, but it's like too much work managing the AI. So I think it can work well with that. I still tend to be averse to electronic implementation of board games. So I'm not the target audience because I'm already against app integrated systems. I've enjoyed the Tebu games that I've played. I've enjoyed them, but I have not fallen in love with them. And I think Sword and Sorcery has a stronger chance, but certainly not a guarantee. My first board game was Witcher Old World, and since then I've spiraled into 50 plus games. Most are campaigns. I tend to go all in as I love deluxe items miniatures. Any tips to reduce box count? You don't want to see my tips. Watch like the last live streams on this. I just throw things together. It's a mess. It's a mess sometimes, but I have less boxes, so it's a win. Maway 25. I mean, there's a review process and financial risk associated with bringing out new games, so rarely some are really bad ones. I agree. I think most games are not bad. Most games are good. Now there's good, great, and best. Jen, Mythic Games was a bad company from a business point of view, but they introduced really good high-quality games. Massive Darkness is one of my favorite quality and gameplay-wise. Massive Darkness is Simon, just so on the same page, but otherwise I agree with you. Brian T, is that an avocado? Brian T, you are. Hey Alex, Elder Scrolls Pure Second Era is not part of the best campaign games. I think it was out of the top 100. Do you see the game getting a spot in either with more player or why not? So for this, I got a lot of. I should have said something because I got a lot of. The two most consistent questions I got on my top campaign games videos were what about Tidal Blades 2 and what about Elder Scrolls Pure Second Era. Those are my two most common questions. Tidal Blades 2 is one that I forgot about, so it should have been on the list. It should have been on the list. The other one, Betrayal of Second Era, that one I don't think of it as a campaign game because it's 3 sessions. So 3 sessions is so small But it is tricky because they're longer sessions. So like, how do you count that? Mea culpa on me. I should have at least clarified that I wasn't counting it. It absolutely would have been in there and in the higher tiers-ish, like maybe halfway through or something like that. As far as my campaign, as far as my top 100, it was just outside my top 100. There were like 20 or so 4.5s that did not make my way into top 100. It's a hard choice. It is a hard choice to balance. I could absolutely see Betrayal of Second Era being in my top 100 in future years. I don't know. It depends on the table time it gets and some of that stuff. But yeah. Have you tried Andromeda's Edge solo? I have not. Of your ranked campaign games, are any of those played solo? I definitely have played. I've played some of them solo. I don't know if any of them are dedicated solo. I'd have to look at the list and see. Like Primal, I've played through a lot of Primal solo, but I've played through a lot of Primal 2-player. I've played through very little Primal 3-player. Sorry, not Massive Darkness, I meant Darkest Dungeon. That makes more sense now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this up because it is 2:05 and I got so many things to do that are all fun and games. I need to go plan for a level up retreat. I need to go start making plans for Dice Tower West. I'm not going to be at Dice Tower West, but I still need to make plans for them. Speaking of the things I do for Gamefound, I'm trying to organize the Gamefound Hot Games Room and connect with creators there and make sure that happens. So that's another thing I do with Gamefound. So I'm going to go do that right now. But as always, and until next time, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week where we will probably continue our final shelf arrangement chaos stream. And as always, I hope you have a good one.